Scattered severe thunderstorms return to parts of the state today with big hail, strong winds, heavy rain. This weekend's looking wet and much cooler across the state. Let's talk about it in this Thursday edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. Good morning. It's Thursday, the 18th of April, 2024. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Bully-in-Chief David Reimer. It is warm and humid across the majority of the state, at least east of the dry line, where it definitely feels more like a July morning. It's sticky. I don't like it, and I want it to stop. But unfortunately, that's not how Mother Nature works. What we are going to be dealing with, though, with all that moisture in play later today as a cool front arrives, is the possibility of some rowdy thunderstorms. To get into it, here is the latest severe weather outlook from the Storm Prediction Center for this afternoon and evening. The potential for isolated to scattered severe thunderstorms remains evident across the Arklatex, Texoma, North Texas, Central Texas, the Hill Country, the Eastern Concho Valley, the Edwards Plateau, the Rio Grande Plains, portions of Central and South Central Texas. Now, storms today are going to be very slow moving, only about maybe 10 to 20 miles an hour to the south-southeast, which means as we get storms going later today, we'll also be dealing with the threat of heavy rainfall causing localized flooding. That also means spatially we're not dealing with a super large area of real estate, at least in terms of where storms initially develop and then move over the span of their life. The primary time frame today will probably have storms developing in the 3 to 5 p.m. time frame, probably starting up. Well, it could start northeast Texas and unzip further southwest, but depending on how warm it gets in the eastern Concho Valley, it may start down there around 3 to 4 as well. Storms at their peak, probably dinner time towards sunset. After sunset, we'll start to see diminishing coverage and intensity, though it may take until the late evening hours to be completely rid of thunderstorms. Can't honestly even rule one out past midnight. And again, storms today will be moving mostly south-southeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Now, let's talk about the actual timing, locations, etc. Here's the high-res rapid refresh model through the day. Again, isolated to scattered storms developing along that front from northeast Texas all the way back southwest through north Texas, the Concho Valley, before dissipating around 10 p.m. to midnight. Mostly quiet night expected across the state. Tomorrow, increasing clouds across the majority of the state. We may see some storms firing up in the northern terrain, higher terrain of Mexico. Those could be an issue for parts of the Edwards Plateau, Rio Grande Plains Friday afternoon, Friday evening, if they manage to make it to the border. Can't totally rule out a thunderstorm or two in portions of the southern Permian Basin, western Concho Valley, either. Maybe even, honestly, the Trans-Pecos, if temperatures get warm enough to bust through the cap. Did you notice we should remain mostly dry, excluding a few showers, through tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Wildfire-wise, here's the wildfire outlook from the Texas A&M Forest Service today. High to very high. Across northwest Texas, west Texas, the Permian Basin, Big Country, Concho Valley, west of that dry line down to the Edwards Plateau, with very high to extreme wildfire danger expected in the Permian Basin, Guadalupe Mountains, the Trans-Pecos, the Davis Mountains, the Big Bend region of southwest Texas, and to the borderland of far west Texas around El Paso, and then we generally calm down in the fire department Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, thanks to widespread cloud cover, cooler temperatures, and precipitation chances, perhaps excluding far west Texas around the borderland in El Paso. All right, let's talk about rain chances over the weekend, specifically Saturday through Sunday morning. Here's the GFS model, the American Longer Range Weather Model through Saturday. You can see it's got decent rain chances across the northern two-thirds and northern 75% of Texas most of Saturday into Sunday morning, with the heaviest rains possible during the Saturday afternoon evening time frame from the Hill Country, South Central Texas, parts of the Brazos Valley, into North Texas, East Texas. The potential for several inches of rain capable of causing flooding. Now, the good news is, with all this rain, all the cloud cover, cooler temperatures will prevail. The overall threat of severe thunderstorms, big hail, big wind, spinny doom, it doesn't look very likely. In fact, it's pretty unlikely based on the current forecast. So this does not look like a spinny doom softball size chunks of ice falling out of the sky and breaking your expensive things sort of an event. This looks like it is going to rain, it's going to be dreary, and some folks are going to get a little too much rain in too short a period of time. Rain chances look like they're going to end by Sunday afternoon across most of the state, maybe a few showers continuing into Sunday evening, but it looks like the second half of Sunday into Monday will be mostly dry with some decreasing cloud cover in Texas on Monday. Now, here's the forecast rain totals. We're having to use the Global Forecast System's precipitation output because the Weather Prediction Center, who issues these higher resolution rain forecasts, continues to suffer a data outage. This is day number 3, where we're not getting any of that data. So, good job, federal government, on managing to break something for a couple days now. That's really impressive. It's going to be great whenever that happens to radar data and we don't have radar data for a severe weather outbreak. That almost happened about a month ago, but thankfully that was about 6 hours past when we had to deal with severe storms. But yeah, have you tried turning it off and back on again? It should be the main question. Again, you can see we're expecting at least some rainfall through Sunday morning, technically Monday morning, but through Sunday across really a majority, if not the entirety of the state, excluding areas west of the Davis-Guadalupe Mountains, place like El Paso and the borderland, Van Horn, there on Interstate 10, not expecting anything. Northern and northeastern Panhandle, probably not going to get much. Same goes for the coastal plains. Everyone else, we should see at least 1/10 of an inch to up to 1 inch of rainfall by Monday. The potential for 1 to maybe 4 inches, locally higher, across the Hill Country, Central Texas, East Texas, North Texas, and that band of the heaviest precipitation could shift north a bit or south a bit, depending on where the front is on Saturday. And then, what about temperatures? Well, good news today. If you're in the Panhandle in West Texas, it's going to be in the 60s this afternoon, 50s and 60s, as the cool front will have arrived. Northerly winds. It's going to feel nice. South of the front, we're going to have compressional heating. And that means near triple-digit temperatures. The Permian Basin, the Concho Valley, the Edwards Plateau, the Rio Grande Plains, even into parts of the Big Bend. The Trans-Pecos, we're looking at upper 90s to lower 100s this afternoon. Ouchies, especially west of that dry line. East of the dry line, well, guess what? Yeah, it's still going to be hot. Temperatures this afternoon, middle 80s to middle 90s. Very high moisture content. It is not going to be a pleasant day. Heat index values are going to be running 5 to 10 degrees higher than the air temperature, probably. Aren't you happy we're talking about the heat index again? I'm not. But as we get into Friday, well, cool front continues to move south. How about highs around 59 in West Texas? Lubbock up to Plainview, east towards Floydada, Turkey, Caprock Canyon State Park, towards Childress. Oh, it's going to be nice. 60s. Panhandle, West Texas, the Permian Basin, Texoma, Northwest Texas, the Arklatex. Highs in the 60s for Friday. That is going to be nice. Farther south, you can see highs 70s, the Brazos Valley, the Concho Valley. Once you get south of that cool front, it's still well up in the 80s and 90s. Places like the Edwards Plateau, southeast Texas, the coastal plains, the Big Bend, and the borderland of far west Texas. 90 in El Paso tomorrow, 96 in Laredo, 93 to 94 in McAllen. Now, how about this? These are high temperature forecasts for Saturday. 94 in Laredo, about 47 in Dumas, Dalhart, up in the Panhandle. Just on northwest there of Dalhart, 43 for a high temperature on Saturday. It's going to be cold. I mean, I don't know about you, but I'm used to warm temperatures already. It's going to feel cold. Temperatures in the 40s on Saturday up there. Yikes. Highs in the 50s, Texoma, Northwest Texas, down to the Permian Basin, the Big Country. Looking at 60s and 70s. The Arklatex, North Texas, East Texas, the Concho Valley, the Hill Country. Honestly, down towards the higher terrain of the Davis-Guadalupe Mountains, too. Otherwise, it's going to be in the 80s. Austin, El Paso, Houston, Victoria, and then you get 90s. Just west of Corpus Christi down to the Rio Grande Plains, the Rio Grande Valley. But worry not, Sunday, the rain moves out, the clouds stick around. The entire state gets to enjoy at least one day of cooler weather with high temperatures mainly in the 60s and 70s with low 80s possible. The borderland, El Paso, the immediate Texas Gulf Coast, from lower Texas Gulf Coast, really. Corpus Christi down to McAllen. Then we're going to start warming things back up on Monday. Dry weather, clouds start clearing up, highs back up into the 70s and 80s across the state of Texas. So again, we could have some rowdy thunderstorms this afternoon. We'll have storm chasers out and about with severe weather coverage if necessary. You can always watch live on the Texas Storm Chasers and Texas Weather Center YouTube channels. And as always, you can also watch live in the Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, where you can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radar, storm chasing video, and more. Just search for Texas Storm Chasers, where you download apps for your device. Y'all make it a great day. We'll keep an eye on things, have updates this afternoon and evening as needed. We'll talk to you later. God bless.